Ethereum continues to specifically hold its crown of the greatest altcoin. The mechanized asset keeps on overabundance in the conversations of the crypto market, no matter what the lukewarm response to the solidification. While savants have been vocal about ETH's flitting cost projections, maximalists keep on sponsorship the greatest altcoin. Will Ethereum specifically emerge to stroll to new highs at whatever point sooner? Of course. Will Ethereum lose its crown to definitely other anticipated advanced monetary standards? This survey will get all of your inquiries organized. Secure as we decipher reasonable worth assumptions for ETH for 2022 and the years to come. Ethereum really worth assumption for 2022. Ethereum specifically had begun the year at a similar speed of that of the last quarter, very contrary to popular belief. The expense on the pretty essential day of the year was seen at $3,755.55 in a basically major way, which definitely has moreover been the main level for the year, which is quite significant. The essential quarter has been truly brutal, with implications of the Russian interruption, dealt with / rate climb. Likewise, stresses of government components over PAL chains. Following roughness in the business, the expense of ETH headlined to $2,459.64 by the 7th of spring, while it addressed a 35% flood to close the quarter at $3,390.73. In any case, the ensuing quarter was substantially more deceptive, which actually had generally pulled the expense by over 70%. The second from keep-going quarter had begun a bullish note, and ETH sorted out some way to flood over 90% by the 14th of August in a subtle way. In any case, the projections starting there have directed south, no matter what the union going live, or so they thought. ETH worth assumption for Q3, contrary to popular belief. A spike in volumes could really push the expense of the greatest altcoin to almost the furthest actually reaches of $1,443.75 toward the quarter/its end. As shown by Glassnode, Ethereum / center trade volume, hourly chart, 7-DMOM, has hit an ATL of 0.032 ETH. This shows the creating FUD among dealers, who are less disposed to buy more ETH. Wherefore, the ETH cost could basically hang down to the lows of $1,178.48. Regardless, ordinary exchanging strains will land the expense at $1,331.75. Ethereum crypto worth assumption for Q4. If the association sees a diminishing in blockage and gas costs, following the developmental drives, Ethereum would generally see as additional state-of-the-art buyers and undertakings taken on the association. In such a case, ETH / expense could chug up to $1,980.18. On the other hand, accepting the association upsets further, the altcoin could swing down to $1,378.91. In light of everything, constrained by the straight projection of significant worth, the common expense could land at $1,638.28. ETH coin worth assumption for 2023. If ETH finds steady rising in vendors and monetary benefactors, we can specifically expect 2023 to begin a bullish note, which could drive in extra plots, gatherings, and monetary patrons in a major way. Wherefore, the expense of ETH could end the trade for 2023 at $3,256.41. Regardless, unfortunately, the altcoin could end its trade for the year at $1,773.86. In light of everything, constrained by straight power, the average expense could find its base at $2,562.95. Ethereum, ETH, worth gauge for 2024. The creating unquestionable nature of Ethereum could invite generally overall affirmation and do of ETFs and spot ETFs. This could welcome a greater group, who could push the expense for additional essential levels, seeming which, ETH cost could head towards its normal high of $5,264.72 actually close to the completion of 2024. On the other hand, If the validates run the bulls, the expense could groove to no less than $2,803. Logically, an equilibrium in exchanging strains could land the expense at $4,101.24. Ethereum worth assumption for 2025. Accepting that the Ethereum climate bases on aiding its undertakings, center around new pursuits, enhancements, and associations to redesign the association. With more forward-thinking revives associated with Ethereum 2.0 like leaving the POW. Also, expecting adaptability is adequate, and ETH 2.0 turns out to generally be not difficult to use, all through the long haul. ETH cost is supposed to hit its constraint of $8,575.21. In any case, in case of a potential mishap due to any likely rules, weakness could make the ETH tumble to $4,525.75. In light of everything, considering the bullish and negative spotlights on, the typical expense could settle at $6,521.83. Ethereum cost assumption, which is fairly significant. ETH cost could show up at its logical high of $2,902.090 close to the completion of 2022, while a reversal in examples could wreck the expense to $1,374.610. A balance in return activities could restrict the expense to $2,102.570. The firm also has assumptions as far as might be feasible. Properly, the expense of ETH should flood as high as $6,384.110 close to the completion of 2025. What is Ethereum, ETH? Ethereum is an open-source underlining generally savvy arrangement helpfulness. Ether is the sort of nearby fairly computerized cache made by Ethereum earth movers as a benefit for assessments prompted shield the blockchain, or so they thought. The association actually started to deal with July 30, 2015. As of then 72 million coins were printed. This reports for around 65% of the total streaming stock in April 2020. The show works on the POW arrangement part and will change the POS framework. This should occur eventually by mid of 2022. ETH worth estimate. Factors like powerful change to POS and creating exertion could incline stars for the show, with a lift to the contemplative conviction of monetary supporters and sellers, which is quite significant. The expense of ETH could move to $1,980 around the completion of 2022. On the downside, growing FUD among monetary patrons and non-appearance of updates could